Just a robot.
Everyone loves storytime animators, from The Odd Ones Out to Jade Animations to Tim Tom. Their videos are fun to watch, their animations are adorable, and they're very relatable people. It's so amazing to see that YouTube animators are not only doing well on YouTube, but dominating on YouTube. But whenever anything becomes successful, corporations try to cash in on it. Remember the good old days when the only corporate YouTube channel was like Watch Mojo and that's it? I miss those times. There are a few corporate storytime animators. While they are pretty different from storytime animators, it's pretty obvious that they're cashing in on the storytime animator craze. Well, cashing in is a strong word.
Cash in, bro.
I never really understood how these corporate channels work. I mean, yes, they bring in a lot of views, which means a lot of money, but the videos are not 10 minutes long, so they can't put multiple ads on them. Plus, I know the animation isn't really TV quality, but you still have to hire someone to make something like this, especially at the speed they're making them. But hey, what do I know? Maybe the person who's making these knows how to cheat the system and is rolling in cash. Now, a corporation can't be as relatable as a person can. So how they come up with the stories they tell is they have other people send in their stories and they animate it. But unlike most storytime animators, their thumbnails and their titles are a lot more, clickbaity. A snake bit off my wee-wee. My stepdad got me pregnant. I was breastfed at 16. I replaced my wife with an 18-year-old. Yeah, the channel we're looking at today is Share My Story, and the thumbnails and titles I just showed you are from their most recent videos. I guess they also got some inspiration from those Spider-Man and Elsa videos, you know the ones I'm talking about. I got suspended for being too pretty. Yeah, that sounds realistic. I love my stepbrother. My dad thinks I'm dead. What? Look at that thumbnail. But yeah, a lot of these titles are very misleading, like this one, My Sister Is My Mom. When you first read this title, you think, oh, they're gonna have some wincest. I mean, after all, why go across the street when you can just go down the hall, am I right, boys? But no, the story is about how this girl's mother got pregnant at 14, and her grandmother pretended to be her mother, while her actual mother pretended to be her sister. Yeah, that's the thing about this channel. You look at the clickbaity titles and thumbnails, and you expect the video to be funny or maybe a little arousing if you're into this kind of stuff. But then you actually watch the videos and you realize a lot of these stories are really sad. And sometimes they're even pretty sweet. Like this video, my dad got abducted by aliens. I expected to laugh at this video, but all that happened was this kid's dad claimed to be abducted, and he was invited to talk about it on the radio. And the video ends like this.
Of course, everybody thinks he's nuts, but that's okay, because I love my dad no matter what.
Aw, that's sweet, but it's not funny. I wanted something funny. I thought it was gonna have some butt probe stuff. There's also this video, I am allergic to water. At first I thought this had to be a funny one. I mean, how could someone be allergic to water? Humans are mostly made out of it. That would be like a robot being allergic to metal, it just doesn't make any sense. But then I watched the video and yeah, it's a real condition where not someone's entire body, but their skin reacts very poorly to water. But the video has an uplifting message about how, despite having this horrible condition, she's still gonna move on with her life.
So you don't need to feel sorry for me, because overall, I'm doing pretty fine, and there are plenty of people who have it much worse than me. I just wanted to share my story, and thank you for listening.
I mean, I've heard about not judging a book by its cover, but this is ridiculous. It's like grabbing a book with a smut cover with the title 50 Shades of Brown, but the contents inside is the entire story of Les Miserables. Man, I thought this video was going to be easy, but looks like I'm going to have to scrap the whole thing. But luckily for me, after digging through a few more videos, I did find two little gems. Remember that video I mentioned earlier, My Stepdad Got Me Pregnant? Well, it is clickbait, but at least it's honest clickbait.
So when they got married, I was truly happy for them. But of course, my mom had to ruin everything. because one day my boyfriend and I came home late. We were completely wasted.
Oh no, you were wasted. Oh god, is this where the whole stepdad pregnancy comes in? I mean, if you're not sober, it is, well, not consensual.
And while I went to bed, he fell asleep on the couch. The next morning, he sent me a really disturbed message saying that my mom had made out with him last night while it was dark. He said he didn't notice it was my mom until it was too late and they, you know what.
Ah, thank God. For a second, I thought that story was going towards the stepdad doing it with you while you were drunk. But no, it was just your mom doing it with your drunk boyfriend. It's perfectly okay when a woman does it with a man when he's pissed drunk, but not when a man does it with a woman. At least according to society.
Fuck society.
I knew I had to take my revenge.
Oh, this is where the story is going. Now I get it. I mean, there are other ways you could get your revenge. I mean, your boyfriend could take your mom to court over this. Granted, there's no way he could win. There's no way the court would side with a man over a woman in a case like this. If only the genders were reversed, then you would have something. And somehow the story would also be even creepier.
So the next morning, I came very close to her husband Michael and said, "Stepdaddy, can you make me some breakfast?"
Forget calling someone daddy to be kinky. Now it's stepdaddy. That's the new hot thing. Except for, it's not to be kinky. That's literally what he is.
I even fluttered my eyes at him, but he just ignored it. In the end, I showed him my boyfriend's SMS and told him that his wife had slept with my boyfriend. And for the first time, I saw him getting angry.
Yeah, she also slept with him while he was drunk and unable to consent. I mean, she didn't just sleep with him. She did something that starts with a R and ends with an ape.
Say what?
I mean, no wonder. He had treated my mom with so much respect, and in return, she had cheated on him with a 20-year-old boy.
Yeah, every nice guy's been there. You date a single mother, and before you know it, she's giving her daughter's boyfriend a hot Cosby.
I knew he deserved someone better, and that person was me. I'm not allowed to talk about the details here on YouTube.
Well, duh.
But let's just say that for the next few months, me and my stepdad Michael had a very close relationship.
Well, incest is most certainly wincest after all. Well, actually, I don't know if it really counts if it's with your stepbrother or stepfather. I mean, some people count it, but some people don't.
And somehow, I got pregnant.
Oh, somehow you got pregnant. Well, the somehow might have happened through a close fatherly bond, if you know what I mean.
At first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep the baby. But then I realized that having a kid with my mom's husband was the ultimate revenge on her.
Oh my god! To all the girls out there who ever got knocked up and have been wondering if they should keep it or not, just think to yourself, will this get back at one of my parents? And that will make the decision for you. I mean, clearly that's the most important thing to be thinking about.
And Michael was a good catch anyway, so I had nothing to lose.
Except for, 9 months or more of suffering, a bunch of different health risks, and the chance to die. Yeah, pregnancy is no joke, guys. There's a lot that can go wrong. But yeah, it will all be worth it once you get back at your mom or whatever.
But when I told her I was pregnant without knowing who the father was, she started laughing and said she had always known I would end up as a single mother. I got so mad. I was about to tell her the truth, but I knew it wasn't the right moment.
Well, the mom is kind of a hypocrite for being a single mother for a very long time herself, but this girl is savage. You're waiting months and months with a person inside of you just to get revenge.
And for the next few months, Michael took great care of me.
Oh yeah, I bet he did, if you know what I mean.
It went on like this until I was giving birth. My mom was right next to me, making one sarcastic comment after the other.
I mean, when you're giving birth in a hospital, can't you ask the doctors to remove people who are in there so you can give birth with just you and the doctors? I mean, I don't know that much about this. I mean, I've heard you can't even give birth with other people in the room, just you and the doctors, but I don't know how true that is, and I'm way too lazy to do any research. I mean, Google's right there. It would just take one simple search, but that's just too much work for me, guys. Okay, I Googled it, and yeah, some hospitals won't allow you to have friends and family in the room.
At some point, I had enough and couldn't take it anymore. I screamed, "Michael got me pregnant! Your stupid husband got me pregnant! It's his child, you stupid."
God, this is so anime, to the sweat glands to the characters' heads growing huge when they get angry. It reminds me of Kappa Mikey. Does anybody remember that show?
I'll never forget the look on her face. At first, she was just quiet. She wasn't sure if I was making a joke or not, but when she realized I wasn't joking, she went berserk, and it took 3 doctors to keep her away from me.
Okay, I don't know that much about the law, but I'm pretty sure attacking someone who is pregnant or attacking someone who just gave birth might be a felony. I mean, after a woman gives birth, almost all her energy is drained. There has to be a recovery period afterwards. The person telling this story doesn't even make a big deal about it. It's just like, yeah, she attacked me. No big deal. It took 3 doctors to get her off of me.
Meanwhile, I was laughing so hard I almost fell out of bed. I knew I had finally gotten my revenge.
Laughing like that after giving birth and being assaulted doesn't sound like the most healthy thing. I'm pretty shocked that you didn't pass out.
And after I'd given birth, Michael came inside to take a look at his daughter. I immediately knew he would be a great father.
I mean, yeah, he was already such a great dad to you. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. Maybe he could knock this one up as well.
But then I noticed that he had a big bruise on his face. I asked what happened, and he said my mom had attacked him in the hospital lobby, screaming, "You got my daughter pregnant! You pig! I'll divorce you, you dirty piece of shit!" And afterwards, the police had to arrest her.
I mean, finally that happened. She assaulted 2 people and slept with someone who was drunk and unable to consent.
The next day, my stepdad went to work.
Dear God, please stop calling him your stepdad.
But when he stepped out of his car, my mom drove her car right into him. Luckily, she missed him, and now she's serving a 5-year prison sentence for attempted murder.
Only 5 years for attempted murder. On top of 2 assaults and sleeping with someone who was unable to consent. Man, the law is way easier on women.
Estimating gender disparities in federal criminal cases, this paper found large gender gaps favoring women throughout sentencing length distribution, averaging just over 60%. Female arrestees were also significantly likelier to avoid charges and convictions entirely, and twice as likely to avoid incarceration if convicted.
Just so you guys know, if a white guy and a black guy commit a crime, the black guy will get more jail time than the white guy for the exact same crime. And that's pretty messed up.
And her data found that, rather interestingly, pre-charge characteristics including arrest offense and criminal history explained about 80% of the disparity in black and white conviction rates. So there is 20% which is currently unaccounted for. However, she found that on average blacks receive almost a 10% longer sentence when compared to whites for the same crime.
But the gap between women and men doing the exact same crime is 6 times greater. Oh, and you also get more jail time if you have a record, which this woman does.
Another time, I told her that my teacher was picking on me, and the next day she stormed into my school and physically attacked that teacher. That's probably not the best way to show your love, but it still counts.
So yeah, on top of everything else, she committed assault way before all of this happened. Alright, we're about 15 minutes in, but I think I should just cover one more video. And this one is robot related, which I am. I needed to tell you in case you were, stupid. This video is about how a girl got replaced by a robot.
Hey, my name is Clarissa, and this story is about my completely immature boyfriend, Dennis.
God, Dennis already looks and sounds like a real menace.
He was the kind of guy that never helped with the housework, and who always sat on the couch playing video games while I was doing laundry. But whenever I asked him to help me out, he would say, "My job as an accountant is very stressful, and I'm making twice as much money as you do. So, it's only fair if you do the housework."
Well, is the man in the relationship paying for pretty much everything? I mean, if he is, because he is making twice as much money, that is a decent reason not to do the housework. I'm not saying that makes him a good person by any means, though. I mean, I at least help my girlfriend with the housework.
And that's why I told him I wouldn't sleep with him anymore until he apologized and finally started helping with the housework.
Oh god, the animation on that hand, oof, I think I owe Spetchy an apology.
A few days later, a huge package arrived at our home address to Dennis. I was desperate to know what it was. And when Dennis came home, he made a big deal about opening it in front of me. And when I saw what was inside, I was shocked. It was a female sex robot.
It kind of looks like that one girl from Cowboy Beep Boop. Also, I think I might have gone to high school with that female robot. Let's just say she was that kind of girl who was playing with all the joysticks, if you know what I mean.
And when he switched it on, it started talking. She said things like, "Hello, Daddy. Are you ready to play?"
Oh, come on. Daddy's not the kinky thing anymore. It's Stepdaddy now. Didn't you hear?
That's when I realized that my boyfriend was completely mental.
Wow. Robophobia. Just because your boyfriend's in love with a robot, it doesn't make it wrong. Marriage between robots and humans should be legal already. And here's where I'm going to end the video off. Guys, I haven't laughed this hard in a long time. I might cover other channels like this in the future. They're just a gold mine of hilarity. And imagine if Jaden Animations or James from The Odd Ones Out did videos like this. Hi, I'm Jaden Animations, and this is the story about how I got pregnant by my stepdad.
Please remember to subscribe to this channel if you want more real-life stories.
My eyes have seen the glory of the cleansing of YouTube, debunking SJWs and feminazis too. We criticize reactionists in hopes they get the boot, just the robot marches on.
Some folks have a strange idea of entertainment.